Josh, I'm here. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm here. I'm here. Okay, there you are. Are we live? Oh, hi, everybody. I stepped out to go grab a beer. I thought you would let me know when I got back that we were going live. Okay, well, hi, everybody. Welcome to the WADcast. My name is Brandon. I am joined by my co-host, Josh. Josh, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Episode number 42. Getting things started, getting things underway.
Oh, Christ. Oh.
This is what happens when we don't do our regular nights.
No shit.
Like, for instance, in the background for the audio stream that's going to be available to download later, the music is still going. Mind you, it's at a low level. It's still there.
Well, you know what? We're switching up our service right now. We are used to having doing everything through Skype and through Semicore Studios and what we usually do. So this time we're using StreamYard to do our podcasting for this. So of course things are a little different than how they usually are. But
there's a ticker at the bottom of the screen now for you Facebook Live watchers.
You know what? I where is our Facebook Live? I'm having a hard time finding this so I can share it.
Let's see. You should have gotten a notification that the WADcast is live right now.
Nope. Last notification I have on Facebook, actually, here it is. So your live video on this start. Okay, here we go. Okay. 18 minutes. We are not 18 minutes in.
No, of course we aren't.
Josh.
Yes?
What are you not telling me?
How much I miss you. That's what I'm not telling you.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think.
I hope.
Honestly, I could have messed something up. I don't know. We could have been live for the last 20 minutes.
I hope not. So is to say you know what? When I'm trying to talk to you about maybe setting you up with a friend of mine, that they are not listening because I invited them exclusively to listen to the show tonight. So. That'd be very embarrassing for one of us, and it would not be me. Anyway, so I was late to the show tonight. Did you announce in my brief absence of going out to the fridge to get a beer?
I don't know what's going on.
The show? I don't know either. You just started the damn show without me.
All I'm hearing is you talking to yourself.
I'm talking to you.
Okay. Now, there was a feedback loop that I was hearing the show delayed. So it was you talking over you, and it was really freaking me out, man.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I had the show put up on the actual Facebook for a minute when I found it. And then I started talking, and I had to, turn the whole mute thing on the computer. So, yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay.
So what's tonight's episode about?
Oh, my God. Okay, so, everybody, tonight's episode is very much about celebrity status in Hollywood. what their impact is in Hollywood. Are they worth their salaries? Do they get paid? Whether or not the film is, in fact, a success or a flop, and what their role is in encouraging the masses to purchase items. So, there's things like the Kardashians, right? Uh, I can't stand them. If ever there was a more useless and less talented family in the world, they could never be as untalented as the Kardashians. Their claim to fame was initially their father being a friend of O.J. Simpson, who defended O.J. in the O.J. Simpson versus Nicole Brown and what's his face murders. Meanwhile, the other side of the Kardashian family were friends with Nicole Brown. And that's fine, right? The case ended the way it ended. There was no justice for the Brown family. But then years later, and I think 2000, like 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there, a sex tape of Kim Kardashian and rapper Ray J leaked, and then boom, famous from a porn tape. They got their own spin-off. Like there's never I can never think of any spin-off TV show from a porno. But Keeping Up with the Kardashians is very much that. It's a spin-off of a porno.
What about The Simple Life?
Porn tape. Well, that wasn't really because of like Paris Hilton's like porn tape though. I mean, because mind you, The Simple Life was very much Nicole Simpson and her now former friend, whatever her name was, Nicole Richie, I think, right? Nicole Richie, something like that. So like that wasn't like based off a porn tape though. The Kardashians were all but irrelevant at the time of Kardashian getting railed by Ray J. All you had to do is like nowadays it would not be Kim Kardashian and Ray J. Like it would just be like, I don't know, Greek woman railed by BBC. And that's where it would stop. But Kardashian got railed by Ray J, which turned into this whole debacle. No one ever, like, nothing ever really positive happened for Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee after their leaked sex tape. Like, their careers weren't affected really in any way whatsoever. But Kardashians...
Other than people going, well, finally.
Well, I mean, listen, Pamela Anderson's already... you're not going to see anything of those tapes that you have not already seen. I'm sorry. You're not going to see anything of those tapes that you've not already seen if you have not, like, read Playboy or anything like that. Pam has already done all kinds of wonderful stuff to show everyone what she's got. In this case, you're just seeing that wonderful stuff getting, like, something else inserted into it. Okay? And guess what? Spoiler alert, nothing bounces. It's all fake. But, oh God, this is already such a 17th episode. But with Kim Kardashian, this family has gone on to get like endorsements. They've gotten like deals. They've gotten, like, I think, music deals. What's her name? Kendall Jenner had this whole like self-righteous Pepsi commercial. I think like last year, in the midst of the country being at war with each other over George Floyd. Pepsi releases a commercial where, of all people, it's only Kendall Jenner that can bring peace to the masses by offering a police officer a nice, refreshing Pepsi. Like, come on.
Isn't that what brought peace between everybody? I could have sworn Pepsi told me that's what happened.
You know what? I live in Los Angeles. If I were to walk down the middle of like a big like march or something like that, and the cops are just standing there, if I were to walk, do you have any idea what would happen to me if I walked past all these protesters of different ethnicities? Me, like a blonde-haired, blood white guy, and he's like, "Officer, here's a Pepsi. Everybody, watch him drink this. This is where we make peace." I mean, come on. It wouldn't happen. Oh.
If you did in Atlanta, you'd be shot. That's not a Coke.
It's not a Coke. Oh, Christ. Well, that's exactly it, though. So, like, the Kardashians are, like, my least favorite family in America. You know, at least Ozzy Osbourne, at least he sold out for World of Warcraft. You know, at least, you know, Mr. T sold out for World of Warcraft. But the Kardashians sold out for Pepsi. And it all stemmed from like a porn tape. So they're really not very relevant, and thank the hell God their show's being canceled. It's not like even I don't see what's entertaining about it. But the rest of the show outside of the Kardashians is based around stars who have been paid an insurmountable level of finances to be part of a movie that flopped, or have been paid a lot of money to be the spokesperson for a product where they have pretty much encouraged others to be as beautiful as them in a very, I don't know, self-absorbed campaign. Yeah. So, Josh, I'll let you take the reins from here, because I just went off in the full rant against the Kardashians. If there's anyone I like less than Betty White, it's them. So.
I'd still take Betty White in a fight any day.
Oh yeah, who would?
I mean, I wouldn't fight her,
Just
but
don't make eye contact.
She would definitely be my tag team partner.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then fair enough. Just don't make eye contact. That's all.
Well, the angle that I was going to take with this discussion on star power and what it brings to the world of entertainment, and we touched on this before we got on the air a bit earlier today. The question on my mind is, you're paying millions and millions of dollars for somebody to give a performance in your film, right?
Yes.
Is it really worth it?
Honestly, it really depends. I mean, it's like, and now you and I have had this conversation earlier with like the Marvel movies, or you know what? Let's just stick with Marvel. I'm not going to badmouth DC, but without badmouthing DC, it's like the Kmart compared to Marvel's like Barney's, right? They don't make up their mind. Well, this is continuity, this is not continuity. We're going to pay this much for this actor, but then we're going to it's just like DCEU cannot seem to really grasp their footing with actors. But Marvel, since 2008, starting with Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, has very much been steadfast in their casting choices.
Mm-hmm.
The closest they've ever gone to miscasting a character outside of Terrence Howard for Rhodey was getting a stand-in for Captain Marvel at the end of Age of Ultron, I think, where they then got rid of that actress because they weren't ready for her. So with Marvel, you know, people like Robert Downey Jr., he's been done numerous. How many times now has Robert Downey Jr. said he was done with Iron Man? Much like Hugh Jackman being like he was done with Logan, only to be pulled back in, but they had to pay him a lot of money to come back to reprise the role.
And I still think he's going to come back again.
Robert Downey Jr. or Hugh Jackman?
Actually, both. And I don't think it's going to have anything to do with money.
You think they're just going to miss the characters?
I do. In fact, I recall an interview with Hugh Jackman a number of years ago, right before he made his announcement that he's hanging up the claws. He's not going to be Wolverine anymore. He's not going to be Logan.
Okay.
He was asked, is there anything that could bring you back? And he's like, well, if I get to fight the Hulk.
Well,
at the time, that was not a thing that could happen.
Well, at the time, though, the Hulk was still like the Hulk. It wasn't Professor Hulk the way he was portrayed in Avengers Endgame. I just want to see Hugh Jackman fight Deadpool. Is that too much? aside from the brief interaction that we saw at the end of Deadpool 2 with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds very briefly, and I don't know how much of that was, I never looked into it, but with Hugh Jackman be like, okay.
I'm just
When
saying
Deadpool
that
kills him, go ahead.
I'm just saying that the stipulations that Hugh Jackman named publicly are now possible.
No, they are possible, but you'd have to have a damn good reason for the Hulk to come back and not be Professor Hulk anymore. Because mind you, right now, as far as we know, the MCU, Bruce Banner has full control over the Hulk.
Nothing, 2 or 3 adamantium claws to the head couldn't fix.
I mean, he snapped his fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet, and which I'm sure would have actually turned him to like into like the big Hulk because of the stress on his body alone, and also the uncertainty and the heart rate. I mean, he's about to like snap his fingers. He doesn't know what's going to happen. I mean, he saw what happened with Thanos after he snapped his fingers. So it's one of those deals where he's got to be like scared shitless here, like whatever. But no, the point being though is like these characters in the MCU, they've earned their keep, right? Like Robert Downey Jr., who's like, oh, I'm retired from Iron Man. Well, we need you in Spider-Man now. What? Yeah, we need you in Homecoming. Oh, we need you in Avengers Infinity War. No, now we need you in Endgame. Keep coming back. Oh, how much did it cost? $50 million? Great, we'll pay it. Like, Marvel had a marketable and reputable company, with the MCU. DC jumped the gun. I mean, no, it's no secret. I have no problem with DC. I actually enjoy their movies. But if you look at the way they did things, you can tell they were trying to catch up to Marvel. They didn't take the same amount of time to build up to like the first big Avengers style movie with the Justice League, right? They didn't do any of that stuff. They just like jumped right into it. Like it was like what? Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, then the Justice League. Those are the 3 films you got.
You have Superman. Now Superman's dead. Now Superman's back, and you have a team.
At the very end of the movie, though, like the team already started within like 45 minutes, I think, into the film. And I will say, though, it's like Batman vs Superman, as much of a mess as it was, they got Batman right. Finally, what we know of Batman in the comic books, aside from all the murdering and everything else, like the guns, but this is like a more wary Batman. This is like the Dark Knight Returns era of Batman, right? This is what we got. This is what we deserve. And the warehouse scene, if there's any doubts of Ben Affleck as Batman, look at how he portrayed him in the warehouse scene. That was classic, hardcore, calculated Batman right there. Never mind the whole save Martha. Why'd you say that name? Whatever. We're BFFs now. I'm going to save your mother. Like, I mean, forget that. Ben Affleck did a good job. Then Justice League.
I love Batfleck.
The non-Snyder cut of Justice League kind of turned him into the whole Superman. Well, you didn't bring them up because you like me. Batman. Well, I don't. Not. Come on. But going into it, Marvel, those celebrities, I will say, those actors are very much entitled to those sellers because they've been doing it for years and they have done nothing but the utmost fan service. And Scarlett Johansson has dealt with some of the most personal questions that I could imagine any actress ever going through, next to Anne Hathaway for the Catwoman costume from Dark Knight Rises. They've earned their salaries. They've done they've done their time. But now moving on, though, you have actors and actresses like, who was that we were talking about earlier? Well, let's go with Chris Evans. What was that movie that I mentioned earlier that Chris Evans was in before earlier today? You and I were talking.
I don't think I've never heard of it.
God, let me Google this real quick. He was in a film that was an absolute flop with like $36,000, I think. Um, it's in 2016. I remember that. I'm gonna find this here.
You gonna find it? Well, in the meantime, I will say that.
Before we go, that's the name of it. Before we go,
Okay.
it was a movie that had very poor reception. It was in 2015. I'm sorry, 2014 rather. 2014. This was a okay. So it was higher than what I thought. Like I looked up the domestic box office. The budget was 3 million. So with Chris Evans and the people they had in it, like 3 million, it's a shoestring budget for a feature length film. The box office was around $480,000. That's what it brought in worldwide. So you have these actors that come on board for things. Now they have successes. Now Chris Evans, his now do you think without the MCU, Josh, for a second, without the MCU, do you think Chris Evans would be a marketable person the way
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
become with the MCU?
Do I think he's more marketable now? Yes.
No, no, no. Without the MCU being involved, do you think he would have been as marketable as he is right now had he not won the role of Captain America / Steve Rogers?
You know, I'll say playing Steve Rogers did raise his stock.
No,
I
it
mean,
did.
absolutely.
It did.
It gave
But
him exposure in the biggest, movie franchise in history.
but that's the thing, though. Before that, what was it? It was the Losers. It was what is it? The Fantastic Four? Was it
Not another teen
not
movie.
another teen movie? What was it? Scott Pilgrim versus the World, right?
Yeah.
He's been in a few films, but they never really like pushed his acting chops. I guess best way to put it. He was in another film. I can't remember if it came out before or after the Captain America films, but he's oh God, what was I think it was Push. This movie Push, 2009. So it was before, it was pre Captain America. So Push, The Losers, and Scott Pilgrim versus the World were all within like a year and a half of each other.
Yeah.
Before that, The Nanny Diaries, Sunshine, where he was like a supporting character, TMNT, where he was, which is also a phenomenal, I will say, a phenomenal addition to a filled trilogy. Because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Danielle, I do not care if you're listening, that movie sucked. It's her favorite one out of the franchise. TMNT 3. She loves that one where they go back in time to Japan. She loves that movie. But he doesn't like Cellular back in 2004. His first actual big breakout role was honestly not another teen movie. Um, so from all these films where he was always like a supporting character, the first big movie he had was Captain America, the First Avenger. The first big where he is the star of the show.
Yes.
Since not another teen movie where he was still like he was one of two, stars. But his standalone was Captain America, right?
Yes.
Without Captain America, if you look at the other things that he's done, like The Iceman, which was an amazing film. I love The Iceman. He was a supporting actor. Playing it cool. No, just supporting. Gifted, the same. All of his roles outside of Marvel, until Knives Out and Don't Look Up, have all pretty much been, supporting characters.
Yeah, Snowpiercer.
Okay, Snowpiercer, but still, Snowpiercer is also within the last like couple of years, though, isn't it?
8
2013.
years.
2013. Okay,
But it is also post Captain America.
fair enough.
So I think what we're saying is, yes, Chris Evans is worth every dollar that they spent to, get him to play Steve Rogers, Captain America. But it was more the role, the franchise that made him rather than, bringing in an A-lister to take on the role to bring in ticket sales. I'll even say the same for Robert Downey Jr.
Well,
When Iron Man was, a thing when it was coming out, I don't think it was Robert Downey Jr. that was specifically putting butts in seats. I don't recall ever hearing anybody saying, I can't wait to see Robert Downey Jr.
no,
play
I think
Iron Man.
honestly, I think the whole thing with Robert Downey Jr. was the fact that the studio took a chance, a big, big chance with RDJ.
Oh, yeah.
They took a massive. He was, from what I read, he was almost completely uninsurable for Iron Man. He was all but uninsurable. They had to like really make some exceptions because his screen test as Tony Stark was so goddamn believable for the character that I think they pretty much said that the role was just. They never realized that the role was made for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this: Marvel has done something for, I don't want to say obscure actors, because I think that's disrespectful towards their craft. Jeremy Renner. I like Jeremy Renner. I've seen all of his films. I like him. He's a very charismatic actor. But the first thing I've ever seen him in that I can think of, which apparently had a long career before this, was SWAT in 2003. 2004, somewhere around there. The remake of SWAT, opposite of Colin...
Farrell?
Colin Farrell and Samuel L. Jackson. Then the Bourne Supremacy, was that the one?
I've only seen the first one as far as the Bourne movies.
Okay, well he was like in this spin-off of like the Bourne movies. Outside that, I saw him as like the supporting character for Thor. I'm like, oh my god, it's Jeremy Renner. Oh, it's gonna be like a one and done thing. Oh, he's Hawkeye. Oh, maybe not. He'll come back. But you have these characters. Elizabeth Olsen, largely known in the independent world.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson wasn't a big name. He had Kick-Ass and I think Godzilla, where he also was with Elizabeth Olsen in that one, playing her husband. So, kind of fits in with their weird incestuous relationship in the comic books, where they play husband in one movie and they play brother and sister in the next movie. But, so you have these like underdog actors and actresses that come on board and do this. And Brie Larson, no, I guess she's kind of a household name when she came on for Captain Marvel.
Ish.
But she wasn't that much of a household name. Again, she was largely
Indie.
her fan base was like largely indie fans, right? Indie
And
fans.
she already won the Academy Award for Room.
Yes, and that was actually a good movie. I will say, Room was actually a brilliant movie. But you have a lot of these actors and actresses that Marvel brings in. I think their largest actor or actress was, honestly, that was already established, was a toss-up between Chris Hemsworth, who was big overseas, not so much over in America, but overseas, he was huge, and Natalie Portman, and Gwyneth Paltrow. Jeff Bridges for a quick one-and-done movie. But they're and Samuel L. Jackson, of course, but you have coming off of Marvel, because we could talk about this all night. We're already about halfway through the runtime of our show, depending on what time our show started. But the whole point of our show is to discuss the actors that come on board with something, what their place is in film, and should we be excited about seeing their films just because their name's attached to it. Mind you, the movie The Hunt, Emma Roberts is a big TV star. American Horror Story. She's a huge TV star. a few films, but big in TV. And I think she's charming. She was largely advertised in The Hunt that came out, I think, last year. She was killed within the first 15 minutes. A lot of stars, like,
Spoilers.
going back. Oh, I'm sorry. Guys, spoiler alerts. Emma Roberts fucking dies in the first, like, 15 minutes of this film. Jack Nicholson in the original Little Shop of Horrors is in that movie for all of, like, 10 minutes. But if you find a copy of the Little Shop of Horrors in a store rather, you see one name on that box, and it is Jack Nicholson. He's got nothing to do with the movie. The movie would be the same movie without him in it. He's not the star of the movie at all. But no, he's bankable. So now these movies use these current stars to bankroll in on these older films. Now, what makes these stars so valuable to people? Because a lot of these stars, as you and I both know, are in a lot of flops as well.
Yeah.
So what drives their successful careers if half the shit that they're in is unsuccessful? It's like me going to McDonald's and be like, oh, well, I'll get this one. And it's the same damn person making the meal, and half the damn time it's wrong. Do I keep going to McDonald's, or do I go to another McDonald's and find someone else who can actually make my meal right? There's a lot of gamble here, man. So,
Yeah,
like,
big investment.
Yeah, so give me a star that you can think of, or that you might have, like, looked up, that has had a lot of flops, but a handful of successes that have seemingly catapulted their career forward. And, like, what do you think about them?
Oh, wow. Put me on the spot here. Okay, a star that has had...
We talked about this earlier today. You should have already had this.
Well, I told you I've been putting together furniture. It's for the studio.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyway, a star that's had a handful of hits, but has dropped the ball on several occasions as far as picking which films to do. Is that kind of... Well, I'd say Ben Affleck. As much as I love Ben, there was a period of time where maybe he wasn't making the best decisions in what to be in. Geely comes to mind.
Okay.
We did mention that earlier.
We did talk about Geely. That was like an embarrassing fucking small one.
So yeah, that's I think in a nutshell the kind of thing where someone says we need a big name. Let's get Ben, and they're hoping that they'll get a big return on that investment, and it's not always the case. And I think a lot of people have made this observation, and I think it's 100% correct. The return on star power is diminishing in a big way, and has been over the last several years, because I don't know about you, but I can't really think of anybody just straight off the top of my head where, you see this is such and such film and they're, it's starting in theaters in 2 weeks or whatever. I can't think of anybody where I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to that to see this person act.
Okay.
Are there any actors or actresses out there that sell you a ticket automatically?
Me personally?
Yeah, I mean, take you to the theater, assuming, of course, that they're open.
I will say one, and it's not because of the MCU. It is Robert Downey Jr.
So you went to see The Judge in theaters?
I did. I absolutely did.
So you're the guy.
No, The Judge was an amazing movie. And the thing is Robert Downey Jr., you watch him in Iron Man, you watch him in these other movies, his Tony Stark role is just him being Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
There's no acting at all. He either acts like he's irritated or that he thinks something is funny. Those are Tony Stark's two big quirks: making jokes at someone's expense or being annoyed. That is it. Robert Downey Jr. is one of the two. You watch him in any of his movies, there's no acting in Iron Man 1 through 3 or any of the Avengers movies, just Robert Downey Jr. And the same thing goes for his more independent films like The Judge. The Judge, or, like Gothica, which I saw in theaters. Now, I love Robert Downey Jr. It's not because of the fact that he's a great actor. I think he's an okay actor at best. He's not wonderful. If you watch him in like Sherlock Holmes, sure, he's actually doing a good job. He can act with a British accent, I guess. You watch him in Dr. Dolittle? No. No. Moss Jim! Like, no, I cannot do Dolittle at all. But now you move on to his roles that he's played in. Oh God, what was it?
Back to School?
God, no, about the serial killer.
Zodiac?
Yeah. You see him in that movie, and he's actually acting in that film. It's actually pretty damn good. But I mean, that doesn't say much because John Leguizamo did an amazing job in both Romeo and Juliet and Summer of Sam.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Robert Downey Jr. and also Bill Murray
that I saw.
Huh?
And John Leguizamo was in something recently that I really enjoyed, and I don't remember what it is.
Gamer.
Was it?
Oh, I don't know. What would you see with him in it?
Well, that's what I'm trying to remember. He was a cop or something in it.
Played a cop.
And it was recent. Anybody on the chat want to help me out with this?
Do we have people in chat?
Well, I'm assuming we do.
Not yet. Is Michael in yet?
Come on, someone call me an idiot for not knowing what John Leguizamo's latest movie is.
Spawn?
Yeah, that's his latest movie, playing clown.
Super Mario Brothers, the movie?
Yeah, Luigi. I could do... Who did John Leguizamo play in this all day? Except for Moulin Rouge. I don't remember the name of that character. Actor. The Night Clerk. Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, The Night Clerk. He put in a good performance in The Night Clerk. And it's weird because as much as I love John Leguizamo, I never know when his movies are coming out. Right?
Well, see, he's become more of a...
I'm always pleasantly surprised when I see him.
Well, see, he's become more of an independent actor than anything else. He's still a comedian, and he's still funny as hell. Yeah. But he's much more... He's kind of shied away from like actual Hollywood. The last big name movie I can think of him being in is honestly The Gamer with Gerard Butler.
He was in The Mandalorian.
Was he? Well, that's not a movie though. I'm talking about like on
the actual... a lot of TV.
But I'm talking about like on the screen, like on like the big screen kind of deal. That status. Now he's been in a few things. And mind you, like his big role when he was younger was, of course, Luigi. Then he went on to a few other things. He did The Pest, which is honestly one of my favorite mindless comedies ever. The Pest.
Yeah, it was the take of the most dangerous game.
Yep.
It was fun. That car at the beginning that lifted up and had like the 10-foot speakers.
Oh yeah. What was it? Being the German Nazi kid. He was like, "Oh, it's a beautiful snake. What's his name?" It's like Cocktail. Cocktail. After my two favorite body parts. I mean, oh man, the '90s were fun. But the thing is,
I mean, this man's put in a body of work.
no, he's been in a lot of things. John Leguizamo is, in my mind, a very marketable person because there is a large fan base for him. But it is a very, while it's a large fan base, it's a limited fan base as well, if that makes sense. But you have other actors that have gone on to do like endorsement deals, right? You've seen a few of them on like watch or fragrance or whatever commercials. Like oh, God, what's her name that played she was in Superbad, Spider-Man 2. What's her name? God. Easy A, the redhead.
Emma
She's
Stone.
actually a blonde. Emma Stone, that's it. She's been like a makeup person. Like she's been like a face of a makeup line. What's disturbing to me is that okay, like Ricky Gervais gave this huge scathing speech at the 2020 Golden Globe Awards.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow anything entertainment wise, you would know what I'm talking about, people. Ricky Gervais ripped in to Hollywood for like 8 minutes straight in this brilliant speech, talking about how if you come up here, get your little award, thank your agent, thank God, thank your family, whatever, and just, F off. Telling us like, you have no idea what the real world is like because you're so far removed from it. You've come here in your little limousines, you're wearing your like multi-$1,000 suits and your tens of $1,000s worth of jewelry. You cannot preach politics because half you people have less of an education than Greta Thunberg. I mean, he just ripped into everybody so much. I'm like, oh, you're my hero. And you can see where like a lot of these actors and actresses during this, if you've ever seen this clip, a lot of them are laughing, but some of them are actually really uncomfortable. Like Tom Hanks is his expressions are priceless. Like you can tell Tom Hanks is not like Ricky Gervais at all.
But he'd never say a mean word.
No. I mean, that's America's dad right there. Of course.
Somebody would go up to Tom Hanks and ask him, "Hey, what do you think about Ricky Gervais?" And he'd respond, "Oh, you know how Ricky is. He's just being Ricky." And then, in the back of his mind is like, "This son of a bitch."
Right? Well, I mean, I think he's like Ricky Gervais. Even like there's one year like during the Golden Globes where he introduced Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, I think, and he was like, one of these actors is a multi-Oscar-winning performer, and like A-list celebrity, been multiple big box office successes, and the other is Tim Allen. I mean, but
that's bringing up Tom Hanks. As far as this topic is, a good pivot point because Tom Hanks has been a marketable name for almost 40 years, right?
Well, actually, yeah, no, absolutely, going all the way back to like Big, I think, and before that with what was it? Was it growing pains or?
Well, there was growing pains
I think growing pains where he played like the alcoholic uncle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was also in a sitcom called Bosom Buddies.
Yes. Like, well, he started small and he worked his way up the chain. But the thing is he's such a respected actor. And I don't know if you've ever got a chance to actually talk to Tom Hanks, but I got to meet with him
Not
like
in a while.
briefly back in college. I'll tell you right now, he is one of the nicest, most down to earth people you'll ever meet in your life. Such a sweet person. No, I would kill to meet Keanu Reeves, but Tom Hanks, like the brief time I actually got to meet him, like while I was like working, passing by him at like a studio, like it's just like the brief interaction I had with him, much like with Jack Black, like he's such a sweet guy. Like
You knew David S. Pumpkins was going to be awesome. But
This is like, but it's like these are people you read about. And there's always a controversy. Um, and despite QAnon, like, oh, he's a pedophile cannibal. Like, well, guys, I can assure you, he's not. He's actually a
he's
pretty
not
sweet.
one, or he's not both.
I hope he's not. I hope he's not either.
And if he were one, which do you wish he was?
Cannibal.
Yeah, that's probably more socially acceptable.
Like, I mean,
But
no, but the thing
let
is,
me
like, go ahead.
let me tell you this. There was a point in time where I would never miss a Tom Hanks movie, and I think a lot of America felt the same way. But ever since, let's see, looking at his whole shtick here, I don't know what the last, maybe the Da Vinci Code, 2006, Charlie Wilson's War, Angels and Demons. I don't think I've seen that actually. But
Pretty good.
Toy Story 4 was sold based on the fact that it's a Toy Story movie.
Yeah.
But like Greyhound or The Post or
Turner and Hooch.
I'm talking about just his most recent movies.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I can't say I felt like I needed to see them, even though I love Tom Hanks's performances. I'm a big fan, but I still felt no urge to watch his movies because I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why these particular movies have not been appealing to me, even though there was a point in time where I would go see The Lady Killers because, oh, it's a Tom Hanks flick. Yes. So it tells me that there is something happening to where I think people in general, people as a whole, are a lot less interested in the people that are on the screen and more interested in the stories that unfold or seeing recognizable brands and series rather than this is the new star.
Okay.
I think
I gotcha.
star power when it comes to box office is on a continuous decline.
Well, the thing is, like, I think a lot of the independent actors and actresses are making a rising right now. Because you see, it's not the way it was. Say, like, it's not how it was, like, even like 15 years ago. YouTube, Vimeo, okay? These two platforms, Daily Motion, all these platforms have given a rise to other people, like, and on top of like cell phones being more capable of recording things. I honestly feel like the mainstream cinema, the way we look at it, is going to have a lot more. I think, like, honestly, I feel like a lot of these A-list actors, their careers are on a timer right now. Like, people want to be a famous actor. You know what? Your time is coming. Just do your own shit because these people are on their way out. Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. I love these actors. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Donald Glover. Like, I mean, all these actors they're about to be obsolete. Honestly, I feel like unless it's a comic book film, it's either going to be a remake of a horror film or a comedy or a rom com, or it's going to be an original movie based off of a short film that they someone found on YouTube somewhere with independent actors and actresses in it. Mind you, Chris Pratt used to be an independent actor. He's risen to being a like now. I feel like the Hollywood elite and all that stuff. I feel like that is seriously on the downturn. Do you see where I'm coming from? That
Yeah, yeah, and I completely agree. I don't think your name is going to have the status it once did, or the credit that you would used to get for just being amazing. And I honestly think it's going to be more about what projects you attach yourself to. The
yeah,
franchise is going to be bigger than the star.
and that's exactly it. Like it feels like the time is coming, and I feel like I would hope so. And I hope, Sue, if you, I know you're not listening to this right now, but if you do chime into this episode at some point, I hope that maybe I am striking a chord with you as well with this when I say this. But I think that the time of the writer is finally coming to fruition. It's like you cannot rely on these actors, these A-list celebrities that have a certain level of status because of these years in the industry if they put out the same shit. Will Ferrell, I think, honestly, is the most overrated comedic actor in the world because all of his stuff is the exact same. He does the same thing in every movie. I see a movie, I see Will Ferrell. I don't see, oh my God, he's acting like Stranger Than Fiction? Sure. I think he was actually acting that movie, and I thought it was a beautiful film. Everything Must Go. Wonderful movie. But this is Will Ferrell actually acting for a change. All of his other movies are the exact same thing. All these actors, these comedic actors, they do the same thing. Bradley Cooper actually acts in a lot of his films. I'll say that he does act, but at the same time, it's just Bradley Cooper. Johnny Depp, I honestly feel like is the
Excuse me.
last true character actor that we've seen in a long time. Like a true character actor that's reminiscent of that of like a 1940s and 50s era actor. I mean, look at his resume of things that he's done, and yeah, he has done some endorsements. He's done, I think, endorsements for watches and cologne and stuff like that. But with his acting, like it's like one of those deals where it's like, you know what, this guy's actually he's really acted. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Oh God. Edward Scissorhands. Pirates of the
Ed Wood.
Caribbean. Huh?
Ed Wood.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like he's been in a lot of these movies, man, where he is a character actor. And not just a character actor, he's also a musician. He's a voice actor. He's done a lot of these things. He's honestly a character actor. I can't think of the last great character actor in the last like 20 plus years without thinking about Johnny Depp. And he even goes out, like when he was doing Pirates of the Caribbean, he was going to Disneyland in full Jack Sparrow attire. He's going to children's hospitals in full Jack Sparrow attire in character. It's not like, like Chris Evans and, Chris Pratt showing up in Star-Lord and Captain America costumes and saying hi to kitties. Johnny Depp showed up in full character as Captain Jack Sparrow to visit kids in, these hospitals. Now, there's other actors that I think are useless when it comes to their acting and what they, offer to society. Gwyneth Paltrow is one of them. I mean, hell, Ricky Gervais, like he doesn't really have any like major sponsorships. He does a lot for charity. outside of his crude exterior, he does a lot for charity. But you see people like the Kardashians that they rock jewelry, they rock dresses, they rock clothing lines and everything else. They try to get their own clothing lines. I think Kim Kardashian was like selling Yeezys because her now ex-husband Kanye made those things or endorsed them, whatever the deal was.
Mm-hmm.
But this begs my question though: what makes an actor or actress so marketable? And honestly, I thought that we'd have more people in our chat over this one. But I cannot for the life of me think of what would make an actor or an actress so important to people that we would have to go and then listen to what they have to say about like a product, right? Or like Sarah McLachlan with her animal rights videos, where you always heard the whole "In the Arms of an Angel" song playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made even the happiest little puppies look sad as fuck. In the arms of an angel, fly away from here. And the dog's like just chasing after the damn tennis ball. Well, it doesn't look sad. The dog's having a good time of the pound. What do you want?
Something happened to that dog. Something bad happened. I just know it.
It's like Sally Struthers' fat ass being in Ethiopia talking about the kids are starving. I'm like, well, if you shared your food with them, lady, I mean, I probably should not have said that, but I maintain it. Sally Struthers had a weight problem when she was out in Africa or green screened into Africa. I'll go with green screened in. Or on a closed set with little children, like, that some racist Hollywood executives like, oh, well, let's get some black kids in here, put them in like little, like, I don't know, loincloths and like make them run around and click. I don't know. But, oh, God, we are never getting any kind of like, you know what? If this show ever becomes anything, Josh, and we actually make it onto radio or anything like that, I can tell you, you're going without me.
How could I ever do this show without you? What's Kente's number?
Exactly, you dick. But the thing is that you look at these things and you wonder, like, how does this star have the power to really dictate what other people think? And, Sally Struthers, Sarah McLachlan, these people are A-list celebrities or were at some points. And they still have a fan following that blindly devote themselves to assisting them with their
Can I bust in with some breaking news?
Go for it.
Now, mind you, this news is probably a few hours old by now, but it just came across my feed, and it could not necessarily shed some light on what we're talking about, but it's definitely somewhat related. Okay, the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
Okay.
That was tonight.
Oh, okay.
And, they have a number of categories. And you would think for certain ones, there's a, like, usual suspects list that you'd expect to see there, right?
Yeah.
Especially for kids.
Okay.
Like, favorite animated series, SpongeBob SquarePants. That tracks. Or favorite reality show, America's Got Talent. It's no Big Brother, but I see it.
Okay. What's your point?
The point is, we get to other things. Favorite movie actress. I'll give you 2 guesses as to who it is.
Like on the Kids' Choice Award?
Yes.
I'm 38 years old, man. I don't know. Scarlett Johansson.
Nope.
Meryl Streep.
Close in a totally not close sort of way.
Okay,
Millie
who is
Bobby
it?
Brown.
Well, okay, that figures. She's like a kid. All right.
Yeah, she's been in like one movie.
But she's been in Stranger Things, which is largely based on the lives of kids.
Favorite female TV star, Millie Bobby Brown, also. So she double dipped there.
Okay.
People really love them some Millie Bobby Brown.
Well,
Favorite
these are like
movie
little.
actor.
These are little kids.
Favorite movie actor,
Okay. Who?
Robert Downey Jr.
Because he's Iron Man. That's about it.
Kids, kids voted Robert Downey Jr. as their favorite actor
I
because
believe it.
of Marvel.
Yeah, I believe it. Kids are dumb. Now I can say this because I remember like thinking like, what's the guy's name that played the Green Ranger when I was a kid? He was my favorite actor of all time because he was a Green Ranger.
He's the best.
And whatever his name is, Saint whatever that played the Red Ranger is my second favorite because he played the Red Ranger. So I mean, kids have no taste, no style. They know what's fed to them. Guarantee these kids were given a tablet by parents who didn't want to raise them and were told to shut up and watch a damn movie. Oh my God, you're crying. Here, watch every Marvel movie in its entirety until you get to bed. Oh, look, next day, you still have some Marvel movies left over. Watch the rest of them. Oh, no, you still have a few more left over. Watch the rest of them. Oh, you like them? You want to see them again? Watch them again. Oh, you're
what
over
was
them.
the Kids'
Let's
Choice
watch
Awards
Stranger Things.
favorite movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, of course, because it sucked.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
going to guess it was
kids.
mostly teenage boys that voted for that one.
Well, would it surprise you?
Because when I was 13, it was Baywatch the movie. Okay, I mean, not the reboot of Baywatch, the original Baywatch with all the slow motion running with Pamela Anderson and all the other women. Like that was like Carmen Electra.
Then why didn't
Okay.
Samara Weaving win Best Movie Actress?
I don't know. She's amazing. She's hot as hell too. The Babysitter. Hello, man. God. Ready or Not? Oh, of course, these are not kids' movies by any means. But my God. You know, Samara Weaving and Brad Dourif's daughter from Curse of Chucky and Amy Rose are my women. And I don't really date white women, but those women are, oh my God, sexy as all hell. But Samara Weaving in Guns Akimo,
Oh, yeah.
I loved her in that. Like, and honestly, I will say, like with her, she's actually a damn good actress. Like she has that range of acting, despite her roles in like these really dark comedies. She is a damn good actress.
I don't know. I mean, I was invited to a set, and there was an actress there that, at the time, I was like, "Oh my God, her performance is transcendent." I'm hanging on to every word she's saying, and
Was
it's
it her?
amazing. No, not with Samara Weaving, but with someone else that I won't name. But I was there on the set watching her performance, and a friend of mine, the one that invited me to the set, was like, "No, you don't." I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm telling you. And then we watched the playback of the performance, and I'm like, "Oh, you're right. Why did I think it was great?" And he said, "Because you think she's hot." And I looked at her and I'm like, yeah, that's true.
No, see, Samara Weaving, I think that she's absolutely gorgeous, but I think she's a highly talented actress and a very underrated one at that. I mean, it's just like she is truly amazing in her films. Even The Babysitter, like, it's a dark comedy, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the first movie.
I loved her so much.
At the end of the first movie, when Cole runs her through the car.
Spoilers for the
And
babysitter.
the movie's been out for years. Come on. Um, when he runs her, when he runs her over with the car, when he runs the car through the house to kill her, and even like the point, like even like the part where he like starts burning the book, the Bible that she has, the Satanic Bible, the look of panic and dread that she has, it was all so believable. But when he hits her with the car, first off, the kid that played Cole is so incredibly talented. Like when he tells her, "Is like I loved you," and you see that single tear come down her face, like, "Oh my god, she's actually a damn good actress." And it's like, granted, it was a dark comedy, so it's like the whole cop scene is like, "Why'd you call the cops, Cole?" like, she's grilling him like she knows him so well. The second babysitter movie. Spoiler alert. She is behind the whole movie. She comes back at the very end as the killer queen. Uh, but her acting in that, when she says goodbye to him before she gets, again, spoiler alert, gets sucked back into hell. Right? Ready or not. When she finds out that her, have you seen this movie, Josh?
I have not.
Okay, then I won't spoil this for you. I trust then that you've seen the first two babysitter films.
Yes.
Um, okay, great. So, ready or not, she's, and you find this out early on. She gets married, and on her wedding night, her family has a messed up ritual where they hunt down the bride of any person that they marry, that the family marries, to see if they're in fact worth being part of their family. And it goes deeper than that. But I won't uh, push the envelope with you. Um, this movie, you can actually see her range of like fear and everything else. Guns Akimbo. Josh, have you seen this?
Yes.
Okay. So with this movie, you see her actually play this fucked up character that, she survived a car fire at some point in her life. Without giving away too much in the film. And there's a scene where, like, Daniel Radcliffe blows something up right next to her, and this she just cowers in fear, like she's about to piss herself. And it's the whole like level of how she displays someone with PTSD is so believable. But she's also so sadistic in the movie. Like when uh, when Daniel Radcliffe finally gets her, is like, "I need your help," and she's like, "My help?" Like as she's got guns pointed at his face. And she's so like just sarcastic, but she's so believable in her roles. Um, Now she's someone that like could actually talk me into buying something, but she doesn't really market a whole lot of things. Like she's more focused on her acting than she is in marketing. She's one of the few younger actresses that's just like, I'm only in this to act, not in this to like be a billboard. It's like I respect that. Um, God, we've gone so far off topic tonight, like talking about our favorite, like actors and actresses as opposed to actually what we were supposed to talk about tonight. I have a whole list
And
here.
it's all related to star power.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like, I mean, Brad Pitt, Robert Downey Jr., Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox at some point, um, Dane Cook,
David Arquette.
David Arquette, uh, a lot of movie stars. God, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Like, there's a lot of movie stars. Sam Elliott.
Franchise Viagra, that Dwayne Johnson.
Well, his acting is a little stiff. So.
I see what you did there.
Mm. But you have like celebrities that Paul Hogan, virtually a nobody now. But when he was like at the height of his Crocodile Dundee fame, when he retired the character, he was right after he was done with Crocodile Dundee, they tried to revive that character for the Subaru Outback. He even had the hat with like the crocodile teeth in it. Um,
You call that a career? This a career.
no, you should rephrase that. You call that residuals? These are residuals.
Poor guy.
Oh, come on, man. He was amazing in Lightning Jack. Oh, God. Good times.
Yup.
What?
It's like we both just started pondering. I wonder where Paul Hogan is now.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, there is a new Crocodile Dundee movie, though. Let me see.
I think they unfortunately missed the boat with the greatest, crossover of all time with, Crocodile Dundee meets the Crocodile Hunter.
There's this whole tease of a film. Uh, with oh God, what's his face? Danny, whatever his name was.
DeVito.
Uh, huh?
DeVito.
No, 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 no. He
Glover.
was like in Eastbound and Down. Um,
Trejo.
no, give me a
McBride.
second. Yeah, that's it. Danny McBride, where he played Crocodile Dundee's kid. But it was just a stupid like sale ad or something. But it's absolutely hysterical. Um,
I will say, as far as actors endorsing things, being spokespersons for things, uh, one of my favorites at this point. I don't even know why, but J.K. Simmons doing Farmers Insurance.
who?
J.K.
Oh
Simmons.
yes, 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 yes. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Yeah.
That might be an actor that no matter what it is, if I see his name on it, I'm there.
Well, I mean, like with him reprising his role as like now bald, um, J. Jonah Jameson in the last Spider-Man film. Like you cannot hate
I
this
was
man at all.
so hyped when I saw that. You don't even know, man. It's like to just a regular person. It's like, oh, they got the other guy back, and I'm like, J. Jonah Jameson's back. The
Here, I'm going to
real.
send this. I'm going to send this to you real quick. I want you to watch this trailer while we are on this show. This is. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is the Crocodile Dundee uh prank trailer.
Okay, you're
Now
sending
you're
me on
welcome to
Facebook.
play this. You're welcome to play this on the actual show itself if you can, because this is what I was talking about. This might give our listeners something to actually watch at some point and look forward to if they stick to this whole show.
All right. Let me just get that set up real quick. For those of you watching live, prepare to be dazzled at the technology on display. Can you hear it too?
I can hear a damn thing. I can hear you breathing. That's about it. Which so this film never happened.
I love this, but of course I'm a Danny McBride mark, so of course I'm gonna love it.
I can't believe you never saw that.
No, no, I didn't, and I want to.
Well, it's not a real movie. That's the messed up part.
It better
It's
be.
not remotely real. But see, I couldn't hear a damn thing of the trailer at all.
No, weird.
Nothing.
I'm pretty sure that everybody else could. I could be wrong.
Well, we could ask people if we have people in the chat.
Hey, if you're in the chat, were you able to hear the audio from the video that was played? We're testing out new streaming stuff. You know, we don't really know if it's coming through or not.
Probably not. But either way, it is 8:24. It is actually about our time to call the show for the night.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Well,
So, with that
why don't
being
you go ahead
said,
and tell everybody where they can find us on the interwebs?
well, find me on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is bjacksman82. Instagram bjacksman82. Or you could actually look us up on the for the WADcast on Instagram, which is instagram.com/the WADcast. And the same thing goes for Facebook, facebook.com/the WADcast. That's where you can find us on there. Josh, what about you?
Well, as always, you can find me on the old Twitters at SkidComic. I don't tweet a whole bunch, but when I do, it's usually something rambling and incoherent. You could also follow at Simicore Studios. That's the main production company of the podcast here. And you can also follow the WADcast directly, the WADcast Pod. Go to Simicore Studios on Facebook and give it a like there, or give it an old like-a-roni, and you can figure out all the other shows that I'm on by liking that page. I do a few podcasts, what can I say? Also, I do have SimicoreStudios.com, but I've been busy. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and say, follow me on Letterboxd as well if you want to see the movies that I've watched and what I thought of them, at least as far as star ratings go to Letterboxd. Skit Comic there, just give it a little searchy. I'll follow for follow and whatnot. And Skit Comic on the PlayStation Network as well, if you want to play some Apex Legends. I'm always down for some gaming. Just make sure when you send a friend request or if you send a game invite, let me know that you listen to the show. That way I know who you are, and it'll be a lot smoother than just some random person like, you should play games with me now. Because that happens a lot.
God.
And if you could, I'm not saying you have to tell me how old you are, because that's just weird. But hopefully you're like not a child, because that's the thing about playing games with random public people. I try to keep my mic muted as much as possible unless I'm with friends. Another reason to say, hey, I'm a listener. Let's chat about movies. Cool. But you get put in rando pubs and your team's filled with people you don't know. So suddenly you got a 10-year-old cussing you out in your ear. Like, it's not cool, dude. So I try to limit any kind of interaction with the squeakers, because most of the time they make me look bad. I gotta be honest, they are good. Doesn't mean I want to continuously hear, high-pitched, I didn't get the heal that I needed, where's the ammo? Anyway, this isn't that podcast, so at some point there's going to be another video game podcast, but it's not today. Any final thoughts, any final words before we head on down the dusty trail, Senor?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, I guess for the audio listeners, you see, everyone joining us on Facebook Live, you got to see, a little bit of video, that nice little thing at the bottom of the screen letting you know that you're listening to episode number 42. That's for the video people. For the audio people, you're going to be able to hear the theme song and the outro as it's played. Because the video people don't get the music, they just get my voice. So, as the music plays this out, I just want to remind you all that the only thing standing in between you and your dream is you. Stop getting in your own way. Make 2021 the year that you finish that script, that you cast your movie, that you put it all together and you create your art. Because if you stop you, it's going to be a lot easier for other people to stop you. So, consider this your green light. Your project has the green light. Go for it. So until next week, when we come back at Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, I am Josh, that's Brandon. This has been the WADcast episode number 42. Hopefully, our names have enough star power to bring you back. See you next week.
See you guys.